Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I hear myself. We're here. It is what it is. Tonight, we will use discipline, not motivation, and just do what we gotta do. My thoughts are all over the place. My health bar, my game meter health bar is on E. I did fill up my gas tonight, but somehow I found, I shouldn't say I found, but the station that I go to was less than $4. So sorry for those out there who are seeing more than $4, but mine was less. Okay, I just hit the record button. So I was having internet issues. Sorry if people expected me to be around, but I was having internet issues, and now we're gonna have an issue with checking out this stream. I haven't done this in a long time. I used to always pull my phone out and make sure I was good and whether it showed up for me on a different account. Uh, Probably be a good time to do that. Probably. Okay. Just to check the audio, the colors, the did they switch my internet? They did switch my internet. It's crazy how much of a difference it makes to not be on the 5G. We're here now. I think YouTube doesn't like it when I'm not on 5G, and I think it doesn't want to send people to me because I think it sees the connection is unstable, the bit rate isn't there. And what do you know? I have a viewer just because I switch the internet signal. Mick the Pick, what's up, man? I am only smiles on the outside. Man, it is what it is. Kind of a evening. Boy, those kid activities. This is the stuff they don't tell you about. It's non-stop, man. I'm definitely taking a break. now now I am. I realize there's a couple things that I'm doing in my life that are risky, not risque, but risky. Oh no, it's just nothing's got me down. It's just activities. It's just you want to get things accomplished, and by all means, when you've worked hard to, you know, have the ability to acquire things or to just do nothing. You want to just do nothing. But when you when a lot of other souls rely on your ability to take them places and move about, um, it could be pretty defeating. That's I'll just say it that way. It could be pretty defeating. You got to really get your mind right. And now I realize that all of the motivational stuff that I've been watching, it's actually helping me not to dip too low. Like you're gonna dip, but I'm not dipping too low. I was listening to some Jim Ron, and it was something he said today that it helped me in that just that 1 minute. I was like, okay, yes, I. He said something about, and I'm not a money person, and I don't know how many people gonna get up in here. I don't know if I should be starting, but I'm not a money person, right? I don't I've never dreamed of being Scrooge McDuck and having all the money that you ever wanted or needed to buy any and everything that, you could ever have. That's I don't even know. I just don't align with that. I don't align with that. There's just a whole missing link of reality when it comes to that. But what he said made sense to me because this journey, if you were to tell me that I would be on here for 84 straight days, I would have told you you're crazy. That I would be able to get on here and be comfortable. You're crazy. That I would do it even though I was burnt out. You're crazy again. Um, Scrooge McDuck is overrated. Of course, we know Lunchpad. Yeah, absolutely. Even Huey, Dewey, and Louie got something on Scrooge. But yeah, I just keep proving to myself, and it's not easy, but there's the yin and the yang, the common give and take, ebbs and flows. But Jim Ron said something about set your goal on making $1 million. And because I'm super vulnerable right now, and I don't know where, life is traveling, I'm not at the liberty to be so standoffish on why he's saying this. And this is not a new thing. It's not an uncommon thing. Everybody wants to shoot for the stars. But what he said probably made the most sense to me. And it's the right timing for me because I'm vulnerable, because the world is it's going in a very weird direction. As much as I can see, certain things aren't making sense to me. The math ain't mathing, as they say. So he said, make $1 million. And he said, the reason why you have to strive for it, even if that's not who you are, and that he's talking to me directly, I'm not that person, is that you will change yourself in the amount that you would learn along the way. There's no real other way to do it, right? Because it's a decision making thing. It's a mindset change. It's a lifestyle change. If you wake up to figure out the next steps that you can do to move in the direction that you need to go in, and you are aware and you identify with it, and every day you start realizing, okay, and it shouldn't matter how you feel. It should not matter how you feel. And you just have to keep going and you keep going and you find your reason to keep going. My reason to keep going might be it's almost 10 o'clock and I'm supposed to be streaming, right? People gonna be looking for me. Or I could be breaking a streak. My reason in a business sense might be look at all the work you did yesterday and just keep realizing that I am moving forward. Who knows when who knows when that moment is going to occur. When we had the raid from SFF, I think we were sitting at maybe 220 subscribers, and I was fine. I was fine, on the track. But I didn't know. And I think that when you continue to just do and be disciplined, you don't know when those things are going to turn around for you or some new information is going to come, but you kind of got to be in the game. So I don't know, it kind of hit me. I was at my son's baseball game today, and yeah, it's going to sound weird, but what a waste of time. Yeah. What a waste of time, man. I felt like what's Mac Miller's my favorite lines from him. What did he say? Something about alternate reality. Are we living? I don't want to get Mac's words wrong. Okay. Okay. Why do you say that? The waste of time? Okay. In my own way, this feel like living some alternate reality. And I was drowning, but now I'm swimming through stressful waters to relief. Um, some crazy words, man. Yeah, no, it was just a waste of time. Um, it's just so I'm no longer a extreme photo parent. Like, if you say you play 10 little league games, right? At what point do you take or not take pictures? Do you just keep taking pictures? Oh, little Johnny, look at little Johnny. Oh, hold the bat, hold the bat. Damn, we're not gonna teach the kid how to hold the bat. Oh, hold it, hold the bat. Oh, look at here, Johnny, smile. And it's just so many things that I'm watching to me. I don't think my parents ever took photos of me. That's hilarious. It's yeah. Those at this point, those are my type of parents. I mean, we it actually was a game. My mom, and it's not that I don't have photos of me being at baseball, a photo of me playing. Um, it's definitely a different energy. And when you're sitting there, and I probably have more information about the game than anyone who was there, right? Parents, coaches, and now what I do with my other son while we watch is I have him observe what the kids are doing right or wrong. So like a lot of kids when let me get some space. Man, we gotta do the stand up streams. A lot of kids, this is old school where you're like back elbows up in extreme, right? That you don't have to do that. But a lot of kids they have their arms like glued to them. And by the time they go swing, they're just swinging with like they might as well be swinging with their shoulders. So I'm explaining to him making the swing easy. I'm actually a lefty, so I'm this way. I switch it a little bit, but I'm telling him that you shouldn't have to go back and then swing. Just be back, and everything's coming forward, and you got to extend those arms, right? And just about every hitter who comes up, horrible stances, horrible swings. And it's just like, what are we all here for if we're not going to fix these kids' swings? Some of them, they fought through it. Some of them had decent hand-eye coordination, but they're missing like fundamental pieces. But the phones are out. And then I caught one dad who it was almost like a mode for him, like a different dimension. It was the baseball dimension, and I'll explain. Okay, so I don't know what the numbers are showing here, but if there's someone else except for Mick the Pick, which is it's not required, but just throw something in the chat if you're around. Give a vote. Let me know that there's a heartbeat out there. So the guy had sunflower seeds. So he's chewing and spitting. He had the old school baseball bubble gum. And I just started observing him, and I was just like, something's off, man. Like you're trying to teach. You're trying to show the culture of the game. You setting the tone. You setting the tone. You got your sunflower seeds and you're spitting them out. Those kids don't care about any of that. They do not care about that. So it's just a lot going on. And then he started talking to me. And he didn't talk too much, but he was a talker. Daywalk, what's up, man? I'm smiling, but I'm burning on the inside, man. I'm tired and just annoyed. The poll is real. Take the poll. I need to make a decision. I don't know if a creator's ever done this, but I need to make a decision. I'll explain what's going on and why. But yeah, so the dad was just in this this baseball dimension, and you could just tell he was all in. So it's hard for me when I look at this as give a kid a uniform and smile and take a picture, and then you have dad next to me and super serious about this and the culture of baseball. Hey Katie, you can't really sit next to each other when one. It doesn't really matter what. It doesn't have to be baseball. If you're not serious and I'm serious, like imagine being on a ski lift and you get into the ski lift with. And correct me if I don't know the right terminology. I have never been. I almost did it, but I've never been on a ski lift, right? And imagine you get on that with another person who is a little reckless. You're not reckless there. It just doesn't work. It makes you super uneasy. So he was just super serious, and Then he started, like I said, he started talking, and as he's talking, I started to understand, like, man, I'm just, maybe I'm in a bubble, because he mentioned something about baseball, and I was like, yeah, it's a hard sport. You guys have heard my spiel. Maybe, I think so. Baseball is a hard, beautiful sport for kids to play. What makes baseball challenging is it's one of the only sports where as a kid, you're potentially forced to go up and bat up, and you're the center of attention for your 3 strikes or your 4 balls, and everyone, in the crowd, on your team, the other team, the coaches, everyone's is watching you. I can't really name another thing. It's sort of like doing a solo at a concert, right? Like if you get a solo at a concert, but you got to be good to get the solo. Like, think about that. I've gone to holiday. In fact, I'm going to a holiday concert or a spring concert on the 6th at the school, and it doesn't matter if it's chorus or instruments. The good kids get the solo, not baseball. Everyone gets a solo. Everyone. So anyway, that wasn't the point. And yes, Katie remembers. So the dad, I don't know if him talking to me was more about him hearing himself talk. I don't know him that well, but I could potentially conclude that, right? And hey, to each his own. So then he says something to me about taking his son and starting him on golf. And his comment was kind of in response to my baseball take, but he didn't respond to it. I think what he did was he concluded that I was saying that this is a complicated sport to play. Let me express to you something that is not complicated at all. And he says, "Yeah, I'm getting him started on, going on the green, and what's there not?" He goes, "What's there not to love? You have the grass, you have the cart that we can drive around." I know at this point that this guy just likes to hear himself talk. There ain't no goddamn way that I know what it's like at 8 years old, 9 years old, going to a golf course and being on the green and riding the cart around. What is ain't no way. Now, I don't know if he don't, and this is not a color thing. It's not based on ethnic group. You just not reading the room, brother. You're just not reading the room. Look at the hat. Come on. Those who end up at Tractor Supply, I got my farm, I got my muck boots on the green. So I just didn't really. I just said, oh yeah, I know. What's there not to love? Can you take me too? I have a cousin actually who was pretty good. He's from the South. And I from what I heard, he was like a child prodigy. A lot of money spent on golf. I guess it seems like, from my understanding, it's an expensive sport. Again, why I wouldn't know much about it. It's an expensive sport for kids to play. Um, so Katie says it's so boring. Well, I don't I don't think golf is boring. I think it's similar to like the baseball boring, right? There's so much intricacies about the parts and components of it. But if you have never played, and if you don't have interest or open mind, or have seen like an amazing moment, um, like, I don't hang out with who's winning the Masters these days, but the Tiger Woods era was like phenomenal. And I could watch 18 holes. I could, that's the ESPN days where that type of stuff would come on Sports Center, and Stewart Scott, and they would, talk about who's under. He's 17 under, and it was easier to follow along. Nowadays, I don't really interact with it at all. Um, but teach his own, Katie. I think it's a tool. It is a skill to hit the ball in different ways with different clubs, and it has a strong history. Everyone knows Tiger Woods, of course, but everyone should know Tiger Woods, right? Like, if you compare Tiger to what other sports were able to do with apparel and having a brand ambassador, what Tiger was doing with Nike was pretty darn close to what basketball and football and baseball athletes were able to do. So, yeah, Tiger had a whole era. But I mean, I know some other golfers, but Tiger Woods was born to be a star. But that's also within the point, right? Like, it's like the Serena Williams and Venus Williams story, and I guess Coco Golf at this point. Um, those sports are very few and far between on where you can go to play them, so they tend to cost a lot of money to compete. So Tiger, his family put him in a position to be able to, you know, gain those skills and work on them, and be competitive. Someone with the name Tiger Woods is not selling insurance. There's a lot of other things that Tiger Woods can do. You have a career after a career. that's that's an interesting name if you take it away from sports. Um, yeah, no, but yeah, the guy. Just going back to the guy, just to close on that. I was in this, like, for 1 second I went into his bubble and was like, man, like, everything around us doesn't matter. What matters to him is the sunflower seeds, the bubble gum, the baseball bubble gum, and that feeling of like youth, you know. So I didn't burst his bubble. I didn't take it away from him. I just, we just ain't gonna be able to connect there, cause both of our sons can't hit the ball. No, my little guy is actually getting a lot better. Um, so then I had a conversation with him tonight, this evening, and this is my youngest. I want to say he sat me down. I have a little, like, futon couch in here, and he sat down as I was sitting in the same seat, and he was like, Daddy, your streams, you doing all that talking. Those are not really good streams. So I say, what do you mean? He said, I want to be a streamer, but mine's are going to be about games because all the stuff that you be talking about, that's not how you grow a channel. Uh huh. Let me know. He says, you don't listen to your subscribers. So I say, how do you know that? He goes, cause you talk about what you want to talk about. You don't listen to them, and if you listen to them, I felt like at one part of it, I felt like pulling out a notepad. It's like, tell, tell me more. Uh, tell me more. And he basically was saying like, and he might be on to something. He basically was saying that going in depth on topics, that's not the way. It's like that's dead. He just wants game. It has to be game related, right? So I said, okay, then why don't you just have if that's all you want? Here's how I spent it back on him. I said, if that's all you want, why don't you just have a dedicated platform for games? Streaming game stuff, right? He knows of Twitch. He doesn't know Twitch. And he goes, I think there is one. Like, I'm not helping him out. I'm not helping him out. But then it made me start thinking about the future for real. Like, the way the internet, the way social media is being used now, and if my son has anything to do with it, there wouldn't be real topics. There's no reason to explore human emotion and behavior. What you doing in Fortnite? And think about how much content, if for better or for worse, good or bad, a lot of it is watching us humans, especially like on YouTube. But when there is no need to do that anymore, or it doesn't gain attraction anymore, the older he gets, what's the point? So I was just taking notes, man. I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was so deep into the philosophy of like what he do. He did say, he said, I wanna do streaming. I wanna do it like how you're doing it, but I don't want to talk about like stuff like you talk about because you don't listen to your subscribers. He mentioned Mr. Beast. He said because Mr. Beast listens to his subscribers and then he changes his stream based on what the subscribers. All I hear is, "Daddy, you ain't good enough. You ain't good enough." But yeah, it's good to hear. Um, I don't. Oh no, he's Mick the Pick says, does it sound like he's inspired by you? No, he literally said like, I want to do it the way you're doing it. They're all of them are super inspired. They just have their own way to express it. Um, One of the things that I'm afraid of is that I make it look easy. I'm working with what I have. I'm not creating all these barriers. I have a ton of ideas. Like today, I was thinking about really investing in like lights. And I'm probably gonna go with the green screen behind me so that I can just punch myself in to the screen and just so much, you know. And going back on some of the real dreams, um, I actually want to show you guys. Um, and who knows if a YouTube check will ever be a part of the plan. But um, I seen something today that yeah, the green screen would be. I mean, I want to have different like sets. I was MSG. Stream from the garden. That would be cool. I just want to do like different sets. Like I have Nick to pick. I have so many show ideas. Um, but you gotta start somewhere, right? I really gotta start somewhere, and so I'm aware of that, and I try not to go crazy with those ideas. But yeah. Let me just show you what I was looking at today. What is it called? So if I had to tell you guys, um, Da Vinci. If I had to tell you guys, like when I was in school, one of the funnest, coolest things about editing to me was working with. So I started in is it linear? I started in linear editing. So this is not even the digital stuff, and so we always had like cool uh, keyboards or interfaces with like a jog wheel. The jog wheel would present different things, like it may have like a part for your finger, so you could kind of rewind and fast forward real fast. But I saw this keyboard. I don't know why this thing is taking me to Bing. But I saw this and I was like, oh my God. So this is, I believe it's made specific to this editing software called DaVinci Resolve, which I have a free version of. Seven. Oh, okay. Several friends reached out to you. That's cool. That's cool. As far as the streaming, I think it's just for me. I think it's just getting more segmented show ideas. But when it comes to like the quality of the stream, we're talking camera, lighting. I'm already in OBS, so I could invest in like better plugins and tools and um but editing is something. Editing is painful. And the more you don't do it, you need that like editing muscle memory. So the best case scenario is I go out and shoot something and I have the confidence to break the thing down so fast and it's a fast turnaround. But when you start getting into um, poor lighting, poor audio, you're just adding a lot of time, onto your edit. So something like this, even though I think it has a nice price tag, and I wouldn't rush into it, but this was a dream of mine from 20 years ago, was to have an editing keyboard with a jog wheel. And I'll do my research because I don't even use this program, DaVinci Resolve, yet. So like one of these, this is just a keyboard with just kind of like the keys are color coded, but nothing special. But when you get into this, we're talking about the full jog wheel and a lot of special keys to do different things. And then you see that price tag. That's insane for a keyboard. That don't make no sense. $700 for a keyboard. What's in there? But if you wanna play, you got to pay. So I was thinking about that and just where things are gonna go. Um, Now regarding the poll, I'm gonna read the results. Okay, make a decision. Oh, it is super cool. Make the pick. But you know what? I would be so defensive with my keyboard. Like now, I'm okay with my technology, but like I've rated based on especially like with the kids, and I rate it based on the quality of said artifact. Is it old? Did I get my use out of it? I'm probably gonna treat this thing. You know how when you get things you really like and you put them back in the wrap, you wrap it up. You got plastic, maybe a special case for it. I'll probably put it up somewhere high. This is it. But in order to do this, I would have to support some deeper ideas that I think could monetarily, like I can't do this just for fun and go spend $700 on a darn keyboard. I would have to. The two areas that I've been thinking, that I've thought about this whole time actually, is getting more serious with making more cinematic videos. So I want to potentially upgrade my camera. Not upgrade the camera itself because I want to get more use out of the camera, but I can kind of show you. I think I can show you where I'm going, so that you can get like a indie box for the SLR. See what that gives us. Okay, so I want to get a rig. Let me just put. Okay. All right. That's a lot. Okay. All right. This is probably the closest thing to it. So I want to get a rig, and I wanted to have like some sort of a indie box to natural density filtering on it. So I think that would be enough to say, okay, we could support the purchase of this keyboard because either one, I'm making cinematic videos that set me apart. Yeah, like a gimbal. Um, or I start taking serious editing for people, right? Start soliciting people on YouTube and sharing my editing skills for a fee, um, which I'm not against. And actually, I've seen a lot of I've seen relationships with creators and how they get things done. They're usually not sitting there editing because it's not worth their time. It's worth their time to go make more content and more videos. Editors edit, and I think I am an editor, more so than the talent. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, that's where I'm just looking, doing that research, and we don't know. Sometimes I spend a lot of time researching and I don't capitalize on the idea itself. But that's how I would improve. But don't go where the people are, where you feel comfortable. Um, I think YouTube is still seen as like the first class platform. Um, Between Twitter, Kick, Rumble, I guess Facebook and Instagram. It still seems like YouTube is the first class platform. So that's my reason for hanging around here. But I was thinking maybe when I start the game channel, maybe I'll be intentional about putting content or streaming on both when I stream, doing a dual stream, Twitch and YouTube. But just being intentional to make sure I'm not missing out on covering Twitch. And if I do like the Darnell Just Gaming channel. But yeah, but I hope you guys are doing good this evening. I'll give you some context on the poll and the whys and the whats. Thanks for hanging out for show. So the poll reads: make a decision on a purchase. Each one gets the job done. Looks like I got a typo there. Um, yep, dedicated gaming channel, absolutely. And I will be following. I will be doing it in a way that my kids will be involved. I have this idea, make the pick, where my son is my trainer, and I like literally my trainer, and I want to go on my rank grind journey on Rocket League, living through him. And then I'm gonna mix it up because he's my trainer, he's going to start, giving me unorthodox things to do, like Karate Kid like stuff, like wax on, wax off, and going to do like I might have to do a full workout and do for 7 straight days. I might have to do burpees and push-ups. I like that play, that storyline. He's like my Mr. Miyagi, and he actually is, which is not much of a stretch. Katie says it is. I just see YouTube as more work than I want to put into it. For some some hit that easy button. Yeah, I think I keep observing. It's hard not to, when I look at content now, to say, well, how many subscribers do they have? Do they match the amount of subscribers that they have? Or how many videos have they posted? And it's, I don't want to go crazy with no equation, but you don't come across somebody and you wonder why they have 35 people in the chat, but then they have 1,500 videos posted. And I would never I wouldn't take away from the value of what that means, whether or not I think that they're entertaining or above average. Like, that's not what that's about at that point. They've worked to be where they are in the space that they are. So you want a little bit of something, but Katie, what I think helps is the collaboration, especially the space that you're trying to be in. I think the collaboration, I would really try to collaborate with people, because then you get to grow together. You get to leverage one another's viewership. Okay, so buy online, 2 day shipping. We know where that's from. Buy in store, but it costs more. Buy a full set, which can last. That's so funny. 0%. Pay for someone else to do the job. I'm glad that one got 0%. So, what's going on is I have a screw that is, it mounts the starter. So the starter on my lawn tractor, which is a John Deere, it's one of the lower end models that I got years ago. But now this is like, I'm finally growing to like love it, because it's teaching me, and I'm a learner. I tell you, I'm a learner. I don't need much to be to like get into the learning space, but I think you pay for the lessons. Katie says, I just want to gather and study the Bible. It was easy before. I would stream on both Facebook and YouTube. I already have a lot of friends on Facebook. I used to gather. Yeah, okay, so you got it going then. So, um, what was I saying? So, I have a lawn tractor, and the starter, between the starter and the solenoid, um, there's a gear that when you turn the key on, you give it power, it turns to the top, and that's what initially does the first turn of your engine, essentially. And in order to do so, I have to mount the starter to the engine bay, and it has a grounding, like it has an electrical wiring that is attached to the screw. So I've had an issue where in this process, if you're not into like the electronics of it, the starter is only in play when the lawnmower starts. So I have continued to go through, let me take everything off, let me tighten it. It feels like it's tight. And then I start it up. It starts. I mow the lawn. I do not shut that thing off until the lawn. And then when I go back the second time, they're like, oh, let me start it back up. Oh, it's shorted out. So now now the breaker, the fuse is busted. So the fuse is being busted because of the overload, because of the short in the screw. So I actually, just been, I don't do this. I have a good amount of common sense, right? Like a really good amount of common sense. Like, don't do that. Do that. Don't do that. Do that. And for the last 48 hours, I would say, I've been very streamlined on seeing how I'm going to approach solving this problem. But I didn't really understand the problem. And today, all of the information that I've been pondering on actually turned into the understanding the real problem. And the problem is that the screw, where the screw goes in, the treads wore off. So it's only a little bit left, like a quarter of the treads. So the screw is only catching in when you screw it all the way in, but it only takes a little bit of vibration, which is what happens when you say like a car is starting. It only happens when you start it up, and that vibration, the screw backs out instant, just like jumps out. Um, I could get it, like I said, I can get it to start the lawn tractor and then do the mowing, but every time I gotta take off all this stuff. It's super annoying. And I like to fix stuff. I don't like to just patch stuff. I like to understand and fix it. It doesn't mean that the same washers are going to end up on, that doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean it's going to have the same screw that it once had. Don't mean that. But it's fixed. If it's a leak, it don't leak anymore, right? Like that's the rules here. So I didn't know anything about re-threading. Let's just call it a screw hole, a screw chamber, where the screw goes. And it just made the most sense to me. I'm like, okay, but I don't know the size of the screw. So this is that moment, out of all of these tools that I already have, how is it possible that I actually don't know or don't have a tool to measure this screw. Is it a metric screw? Is it a US screw? What is it? So I have to take a trip. So I went to Tractor Supply, and I wanted to actually forgot to look for it, but they sell these things so that you won't have that issue again. So you could just screw it into the tread, and then you kind of know. So once I figured out the tread, I then realized that they don't sell the tread repair kit. I don't know why I would think that a tread repair kit would be a viable option for all of these stores. Doesn't seem so unless it's like an auto parts store. So I'm faced with making a decision. And different item, same problem. You buy it online if you have a couple days. It's usually going to be the best price. You're going to struggle to really understand the quality of that thing. And you can send it back, of course, but now you're delaying getting something accomplished that you need accomplished, right? So there's a timing thing. And then the second option, buy in store, but it costs more. So there is a store, and I have to go a little bit further to get to this store to buy it in store, and it definitely costs more than 2 times what it costs on online. And then my go-to is buy a full set, which can last. So a full set would mean that I have a whole kit of different size screws for that type of repair kit, instead of just having the one, because the next time I reach this problem, I'm not gonna have, I don't know what screw it's gonna be, so I'm probably gonna end up buying. Now we're not talking about a whole lot of money. I don't care if I'm spending $400 or $40. We gonna investigate whys and the whats. But I think this one is less about the money, just more about getting past the project, right? Like the initial, I just have to get past the project. I at this point think that I'm 100 now. I'm 99% confident of the fix. Let's fix it, because it'll hurt more if I do this next step and it doesn't fix it. That feeling kind of hurts. But that's what the poll was about. I'm tired, and I've been tired. I was able to post a short today. I did see that some of you guys saw it and shouted out and gave a comment. It did some decent numbers. The full video will be coming soon. It's really just a montage of the day's events. The one that I cut down today, actually, it was like, that was like one take that just looked kind of good to go up real quick. So I did that. But that's tonight's show. I don't want to risk it. When I start seeing almost midnight, I start thinking like, yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. It is Monday. But yeah, it's night 84. Man, oh man, 84. We don't have that much more to go. Well, we do. We have a lot more to go. We have a lot more. I think I saw it as I was working. Yeah, no, it's thank you, Mick the Pick. That's it, man. I don't know how, and this is not being arrogant, but I don't know how to like come on here and not share, because I'm not, a lot of it is not, it's not planned, it's not scripted. I barely have a guide, you know. Good night, number one. Is that what that was? I have 3 minutes to wrap it up. That'd be cool to put a timer on when I say goodbye and see how it goes. I wouldn't even feel pressure, to be honest. I would break that thing every time. Um, but yeah, I was saying I don't really have a goal, and you guys have allowed me to just be me, and like I said, I go back to what Katie was shouting me out about yesterday, and I think that's a different me than when I'm sitting down and I have a screen in front of me, because the reality is, and I'm sure, Katie, you've seen on SFF, which has a whole bunch more technology stuff going on, but just having the multiple screens and managing the broadcast at the same time, there's another aspect and element to, you know, you just trying to offer something and be you, because you're almost like waiting. I'm waiting for a moment. I'm waiting for, oh, there's a spike in viewers, right? How do I respond to that spike? Something must have been said in the chat. I see it jump a little bit. So all of that adds to it, and it doesn't allow for me to just be the same person that I am when I'm just outside and I'm just talking. But either way, over time I'll get better at all these things, and thanks you guys. You guys have definitely been big support. I think, well, I don't even think, out of all the people that I knew that somewhat knew I was going to do this, I would say Mick the Pick has championed that. And out of all the people that I don't know personally, Katie, you've definitely championed that. And I know for you, it must be like, wow, but it's only been X amount of days. I'm telling you, those first 50 days was rough. They were rough. You just never know who's gonna come up in here. But yeah, I hope you guys are in a good space, and it is. I try to bring as much positive energy that to me doesn't change, even through the negative, seeing the positive. And I hope you guys enjoy when I pull some stuff from the internet and some of the people that I follow and watch. People who share part of who they are. I love Esther because at times he breaks down and we see who they are. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I don't want to. I don't know if it's just me holding on to some pride that I thought what this would. I had kind of put out what I thought this would be like and what I wanted it to be and what I needed it to be, and it's always been a question of how personal. Like, I'm resistant on saying how many kids I have, the age of my kids. Like, I won't even say the village that I live in, right? I don't think I've ever said the town I live in. I'll say the county. This is just because me observing people, I know that you don't control when you just pop and things can get weird really fast, and I'm already starting to not run my mouth in a bad way, but a couple people that I know, like, that play ball with, they've asked me. It's something that came up, and I said, yeah, I'm streaming, and for me it was in passing. For them it was like, well, what's your channel? On Sunday, a guy pulled my channel up. He was like, oh, I'm gonna be checking you out. He subscribed right there. So now that I'm gonna have more people interested because it's a part of who I am, that whole breaking down thing is like, I don't know. Like I definitely could get, and I guess what you mean by that is just you're going through a moment and you are just being honest and share that moment. That's hard for me because like even before I got on stream, I was going through a moment and I took a drive to go to the store, and that was a hard drive to take, and I was just trying to clean it up, and I didn't think, oh, let me relieve all of this tension, and I know once it's relieved, then I'll be home and I'll be able to stream. Nope, didn't even the I didn't think nothing of it. Two had nothing to do with one another. Oh, you've been burnt bad online? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Speaking of that, when I was on the way home, I went to go fill up the tank, and yeah, it's gas stations are getting weird. Like the pump wasn't working. I had put my card in, did my little thing, and then it said, press the option and lift up the thing, and it didn't work. So I went inside and asked the guy, and he was like, "Oh, it's ready." And I went outside, did the same activity again. It didn't work again. Then I pulled my car into another space, and it worked. And I just felt a little like the way that we run business, the businesses that have to speak to people, they just seem to consistently fail at. It was not that hard for him to walk from behind the cash register while no one's there, and he also had help to come out and investigate and check it. I know what I was seeing, and if you've ever done that, you would have known that I've been going to this gas station for 3 years, that I don't go to any other one. Repeat customer, right? But he has the gift to sell gas, something that he knows that people would need without having to respect and just to make me feel warm and comfortable. I do think I passed my 3 minutes, and this is very dangerous because we've had instances in the past where this is the very moment where another one of our stream team members, they jump in here and they take it upon themselves to ask a question or something, and then we get out of control. So I'm gonna rush out of here, like you don't want somebody to turn the corner on you. I'm just gonna rush out of here, cause yeah, we can't do that, not tonight. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for hanging out. Um, this is night 84. Right? I know. I know. And they definitely wouldn't. They wouldn't care. I think Missy got to get some sleep though, cause that those nights were tough on her. She told me. Um, but all right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. As usual. Sucker for love, baby. What is this? Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't recognize something. I made that for Miami. Um, when I see her, that was for her. She's in a nursing home, and I thought it was cool to make that. Okay, I'm out of here. Peace.
It's thaw season, night edition. Let's go get some eggs. Ride with me.
Oh shit. Oh goddamn. I'm in the snow. Hold on. Oh, I can't see. I, oh, it better be worth it. All these goddamn. It's better. It's kind of dark, but it's not really dark. Because I guess the reflection of the snow. But it's dark enough that I shouldn't be out here like this.
But it is thaw season. Let's get these eggs. It's thaw season, and we got eggs. Check me out on the nightly stream.
It ain't my fault you're not subscribed.